Hello there, and welcome back. Today, let's talk about art block or creative block. What is it and how to overcome it? So, first, let's talk about what is art block. For me, personally, it feels like the days that you don't particularly feel inspired to draw. You feel like you have no new ideas, no inspiration, no motivation at all, right? It happens to all of us. But when this happens to me, I've found that asking myself these two questions kind of generally leads to me knowing why I have the art block. So I hope this same applies to you, and hopefully, this helps you get out of your creative block. So when I hit a creative block, I ask myself A, am I bored? Or B, am I tired or overwhelmed? So when you ask these questions to yourselves, and if you answered yes to yes, I'm bored, then probably these tips might help you. The first thing to try would be try something new. Are you bored of your project? Are you bored of working on the same subjects or with the same mediums? Sometimes not having something new to do leads to a creative block. So try experimenting. If you say always paint landscapes, try painting portraits. If you have been working digitally all this while, try dabbing into oil paints or acrylics or whatever, any other traditional medium. When we are stuck with doing the same thing over and over again, we tend to stay in our comfort zone. And why not? We all like it. But when we are in our comfort zones, we lack any sort of challenge. And that can get really, really boring. So try something new and push the boundaries. The second thing to try may be to go outside, take a walk. Even if you have walked through the neighborhood several times, try looking for some new details. This exercise is actually really helpful because you train your eye to look for something new every time you look at the same thing, and that kind of helps you train your eye even for your artwork, right? We all look at our personal art all the time, so we always need a new eye, and you should definitely always ask for feedback. And it's always great when somebody else looks at it and gives you some tips you may have missed. But when you train your eye to see something new in the same things, it helps you develop your eye even when it comes to your own artwork, right? So even if you've looked at your artwork multiple times, you may be able to look for some new details, right? And that is a great, great benefit. So go outside and view things with a new and fresh perspective. And honestly, sometimes for me, just people watching gives me so many good ideas. Just seeing people walk, right? It's something as basic as that. But everybody walks so differently. There's so many stories you can make up just from someone's way of walking. So that can also give you so many ideas. Once you go outside, you're surrounded by so many stories, so many new ideas. The third thing would be to probably broaden your horizons. Venture out and try something absolutely new. Oftentimes, I try baking or experimenting with some new recipes as a way to keep myself creatively engaged and at the same time give myself a break from my routine work. And if that doesn't work for me, then I try something absolutely new. I mean, things that I wouldn't normally do. For example, there are some first pointer shooter games that I don't generally play. But if I'm so bored and I'm really looking for something new to try, I would try playing those games and just doing something so new that even requires like the most basic of my hand-eye coordination moves to be trained. It really helps you look at the whole thing so differently. And when you try something that drastically different, it could lead to some really interesting inspirations. So try doing something crazy different that you wouldn't generally do. The fourth thing I would suggest is Shake it up. Try switching your work environment. Work at a coffee shop if you generally work at home, or vice versa. Change up your desk arrangements, right? Like just shift things on your desk. This will help keep things really fresh. Sometimes we are so just locked in our routines. Everything is in the exact same place it always is. Just kind of shaking things up really helps to change everything and keep things fresh. So, if you said yes, you were bored, maybe try these things and this will help you get out of your art block. Now, if you answered yes to am I tired or overwhelmed, then I would suggest the following things. The first thing I would say is step away, step back, and take a break. When was the last time you took a real break? Did nothing, just relaxed. And whatever that may mean to you, right? Watch a movie, hang out with friends, go for a workout, go for a run, anything that wasn't work. And when you do take a break, I would really, really suggest being very, very mindful about it, that you do take a break even mentally. Because it's not really helping if you go out for a movie thinking you're taking a break, but mentally you're still stuck in your work. That is not going to be a real break. So take a break without feeling any sort of guilt, a no guilt, zone out break. The second thing to consider would be to prioritize. Do you have too much on your plate? You have so much to do that you don't know where to start. You're so overwhelmed by your to-do list that it just paralyzes you. Sometimes we don't realize that the reason behind us feeling a block or completely unmotivated is that we have so much to do. It kind of feels contradictory because when you have so much to do, you feel like you would automatically be motivated because once you finish the tasks, you have something waiting for you on the other side. But if the list is so long and it's intimidating, it can actually do the exact opposite. So if this feels that it may be the cause, then prioritize. Analyze your tasks and make a list. And when you do this, you'll realize that you have made time for every task and also put in enough time to take some breaks. Now, don't forget to do that. Enough time to take breaks. Once you know everything is taken care of and you will eventually get to all your tasks, you can just chill out and really your creative juices will start to flow. Because when you're mentally relaxed is when you get your best ideas. You know how people say when you're not actually thinking about the project is when suddenly inspiration strikes? It's because you completely just chill out. You're not so obsessed with the task that it gives you time to actually think about it and not worry about it so much. I hope that makes sense. So prioritize, and once you also see the list and you've seen that you've given everything enough time, you will know exactly how much time you have on hand to either accept new projects or be able to say no. So this will give you a very clear idea, and hopefully if this is the reason of your creative block, you will be able to get over it. Now, sometimes neither of these may sound like the problem, and it happens to me sometimes. So what would you do then? What I do at times like those is that I just reach out for my willpower. I don't remember where I read this, but I remember reading it, and it says just show up and do the work. Sometimes waiting for inspiration or motivation to strike, you're just going to be waiting forever because that doesn't happen. You have to go out to look for inspiration and motivation and actually get the work done. And if I'm being honest, sometimes my art block does come from being a little lazy. It doesn't happen very often, but it does. And if that is the cause, then I think just showing up and doing, even if it's something as small as this, like a warm-up sketch, do it. It'll get you into the groove of working. So, at times when nothing else sounds like the reason that you're not bored, you're not tired, you don't feel overwhelmed, but you still feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything, then maybe just reaching for your willpower will do the trick. Now, the final thing I would like to say is that everyone is inspired by different things. Everyone's creative energies come from different sources. So, the reason you may feel stuck would be very different from the reason I feel stuck. So, the tips I'm giving here are just to help you find the reason you may feel a block. I think these questions can be really helpful just to anybody. And if you ask these questions to yourself, I'm hoping you will get the answer and get over your block. So, if you're currently feeling an art block and you're not able to draw or paint, I really hope you get through it and start making art again. Because really, this world could use more art, could always use more art. So, good luck. And remember, don't be too hard on yourself. And I will see you all back here next week. Happy painting. Bye.